Hello everyone, this is KIDM the Man bringing you all another figure review of the Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. And which version of the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger you're asking? Well, it's Adam of course, which is something that we've already seen before. So as usual, we are going to be taking a closer look at this particular figure, but we will be skimming through it. And we will also compare this figure with all of the other versions of Mighty Morphin Black. Now, although we have seen this Ranger design for not one, not two, but 3 other times as well, this figure makes it our 4th Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, 3rd if you don't count the Dragon Shield version. We will also be making a comparison with the other older figures, plus we will be having a special segment at the later part of the video. You should already know what segment I'm talking about from the title of this video, so without further ado, let's get started. As I mentioned in my previous video, I got this figure at the same time with the Lost Galaxy Green Ranger from a local dealer in Malaysia who has contacts from China, where he got it from and brought over the set. If you follow my socials on both Twitter and Instagram of the same name at KIDM the Man, you can clearly see how many Black Rangers that he got from that particular shipment. The new helmet sculpt of the figure is nicely molded and painted. One of the suspicions of this figure when it was announced is that it will be using the new helmet mold that we've seen before from the metallic Black Ranger. And now that I have it in hand, which you would also see it later in the comparison segment, is that this really is the new helmet mold. From the front and to the sides of the helmet. Not to mention, the painting on this particular helmet is nicely applied. Other than the helmet being molded in black plastic, we can see that the pattern of the helmet is nicely painted in silver, and the mammoth eyes on the helmet is painted in yellow, which is very show accurate. You'll understand what I mean later on. However, another nitpicking gripe that I have about this helmet is that the mouth plate is not entirely painted. So it might be fully painted in your copy, but in regular Hasbro fashion, you will be receiving some paint discrepancies, as the corner ends of the mouth plate is not painted as it should be. But honestly, it's such a small error that I don't really mind it. As this figure is using the exact same body mode as the metallic Black Ranger, the neck of the figure is slightly bit longer as compared to the original release, allowing the figure to actually look like that it has a neck. Oh, and it's nicely painted too. You also get the iconic diamonds nicely painted on the torso, however this time it has a matte finish look to it, instead of the old glossy look. Another thing I have noticed is how Hasbro has painted the diamonds on this particular figure. If you would look at it from the side, hopefully the camera picks it up, is that you can see that there is a particular overlap of the white diamond paint. Taking a closer look, it looks like that they have painted the middle white paint first, and then they painted the white paint on the side. I've come to this realization as I can see the pattern of the middle white diamond, which you can see the corners of the middle diamond paint underneath the white on the side. So that is actually an interesting way that they have painted this particular figure. As usual, they have used the same white paint on the back of the figure, but in Hasbro fashion, it's not exactly painted on accurately. To save the cost on paint, the arms of the figure is molded in black plastic, whereas the cuff section of the hand is molded in white plastic, with the diamonds and the rest of the forearm painted in black. The belt buckle of the figure is nicely molded, and the design of the power coin is actually raised. And as usual, paint discrepancies. And lastly, you get your standard Lightning Collection legs and boots, with the black diamonds nicely painted on. He comes with fists, weapon holding hands, the Blade Blaster in holster mode, the Blade Blaster in blast mode, and the Blade Blaster in blade mode, a 1 episode exclusive fire extinguisher, a flared backdoor effect piece, and his head. For all 3 of the Blade Blasters, we have already seen them before. They're all nicely detailed with the sculpting molded on, and they have some nice paint in the areas that matter. As for the episode exclusive fire extinguisher, it's pretty neat. You can see that Hasbro has taken a particular effort in including the sculpting and the molding of this weapon, although it was only used in 1 episode called Putty in the Brain, which can be seen on YouTube right now. Hasbro has taken the liberty to apply some nice premium paint on it. You got the not so dull gold paint, not so dull silver, along with some emerald green. And if you were to focus on the sculpting, you can see that they have molded on the motherboard on this particular weapon, since the episode did place an emphasis on this particular motherboard. And no, I won't spoil that for you, you're gonna have to watch it yourself. As for the flat backdoor effect piece, it's entirely new. Taking a closer look at it, you can see that it is made out of 2 different parts, the soft rubber plastic and a hard peg plastic. Fair warning though, if you want to put the effect piece in, you're gonna have a hard time. no pun intended, because the peg hole of the fire extinguisher is slightly bit smaller than the peg on the effect piece. In my initial testing, it's slightly bit hard to shove it in, so like a gentleman, you definitely would have to apply some lubrication. Otherwise, if you were to shove the effect piece in by force, no one's gonna have a good time, as removing it might be very difficult and you might risk separating the hard plastic from the soft. So please do keep that in mind. As for the civilian head, it looks pretty good. This is our third Adam head sculpt, I believe, where one came from Zeo, another from the metallic Black Ranger, and lastly the non-metallic version. The head sculpt is a new mold, with the facial features nicely sculpted and painted on. The hairstyle does look like it has some helmet hair problem, but it is still nice and wavy. Not to mention this time, however, just like Zack, his earring is painted. Now that is paying attention to detail. Oh yeah, he doesn't have a power axe. So now that you've seen this version of Adam in detail, why don't we bring in the other Mighty Morphin Black Rangers to get a nice comparison. Just to explain what I mean. Starting with the similarities between this version of Adam and the metallic Adam, you can see what I mean by the helmets being the same mold. Now, although it doesn't look like it on camera, what you're seeing here is actually a slight optical illusion. Both of these helmets are using the same mold. The only difference as to why they both look slightly different is because the nose of the mammoth on the metallic version is in a different color. As it is being a different color, you can see the exact length of the mammoth nose. Whereas the base form Adam, since it has the silver panel lining on the mammoth nose, you would think that the last line on the nose is actually where it ends, when in fact it's not. Taking a look at the side of the helmet, you can see that the mammoth tusk does look slightly different, but let it be known that this is also due to an optical illusion caused by the paint discrepancies. Since the tusk is not fully painted, it might look slightly shorter on one as compared to the other. The torso painting is the same on the metallic Black Ranger, and when comparing the Morpher belt buckle, it's safe to say that the both of them are identical. Taking a quick look at the Adam head sculpt, this is what I mean when I say that this Adam has some helmet hair issues, as there's no volume in his hair as compared to the Adam that we got from the metallic set. Facial features wise, you can see that the sculpting is pretty different. The earring on the metallic version is not painted, but it is such a small detail that I'm happy to live without. So in case you missed out on my metallic Ranger review where I made the comparison of all of the different helmets, here's a quick one. At first glance, it is painfully obvious that these two helmets are made out of different molds. The original looks a bit slimmer from the side, but looks a bit taller from the front. You can see that the mammoth nose are different shapes, where the new one is slimmer and the old one is bulkier. The tusk on the new one is slightly slimmer. The mammoth ears on the back is slightly smaller as well. And if you take a closer look at the eyes on the helmet, the original is painted in gold, whereas our new helmet is painted in yellow. Last but not least, for the mouth plate, is slightly smaller too. The helmet that came with the dragon shield is exactly the same mold as the helmet that came with Zack, so I don't think we need to take a closer look at this version. However, it is fair to say that the belt buckle morpher on both of these Zack versions are significantly different. This is back in the early days where Hasbro is trying to decide what is a good mold to use. So perhaps if we don't get another variation of Mighty Morphin Black, I'm confident enough to say that we won't be seeing a new mold of this particular Ranger anytime soon. But of course, we all know that there still are a few more versions of Adam that we have not seen in figure form. There's still a version of Adam from In Space, where the morpher is a bit cracked, and there's also a version of Adam from the Once a Ranger Anniversary, where that Adam has something special. Which brings us to the final segment of this particular video. Now the footage that you're currently seeing now has been pre-recorded sometime in the past, so I hope the quality still holds up. Ever since the release of the metallic Black Ranger, I went online to look for a very old soft vinyl figure. But not just any soft vinyl figure, I was actually looking for a Bokenger. Specifically, Boken Black with his Defender vest. Now why Boken Black specifically? Well, that's because I have seen online pictures where people have used this particular custom, but they were using Boken Red's Defender vest. What happens here is that the plastic used for that particular soft vinyl was in red, thus making the whole entire armor looks very out of place. So I'm glad that I found this version. All that's left to do on my part is to identify the main cutting points on this particular figure, so that way I would be cutting the correct areas and that I will not be missing a single spot. So first things first, I had to dismantle the particular soft vinyl, disinfect it in warm hot soapy water, and now I can begin my custom. So that's it for the backstory. So now let's see how it looks on our new Adam figure. So after disinfecting the entire vinyl figure and after using my unboxing knife to cut out the entire shield, we finally have a defender vest. Now in case you don't know, this was my first vinyl figure that I had to custom. So of course there will be some uneven cuts throughout the entirety of the vinyl vest. And after cutting it, I did my best to paint it as screen accurate as possible. This vest has been sitting on my work table for quite some time, almost an entire year perhaps. So the paint itself isn't as tidy as it should be. Perhaps after this review, I will get to painting this vest again and letting the paint cure properly. So let's get to putting this vest on Adam. Now I know some of you people watching this might have a preference, but my preferred method would be to cut the particular slit just so we can easily install the defender shield on the figure. And now you have Adam in his defender vest from the Once a Ranger anniversary episode. He only had it on for a few seconds, but I'm gonna let you see this figure have it on for quite some time. Sadly, I don't have the weapon that actually comes with the vinyl figure, but I believe that's okay. I'm not too sure whether did Adam use that particular weapon on the show, but the defender vest does look quite good on him. It doesn't really hinder the articulation, and it's a pretty good fit on him. And since the original vinyl figure itself was in black, it really does blend in well with the figure, allowing you to take seamless pictures with Adam, something that I cannot wait to do. So if any of you are interested in doing the same thing that I did, I wish you all the best in finding a Vulcan black with the defender vest. I'm pretty sure it'll take us a while until Hasbro gives us their version of Adam in the defender vest. As for the fire extinguisher weapon, I think I'm gonna give it to Zack. Seeing as the Zack figure that we got came with his Season 2 hair look, and that was where the fire extinguisher was used, I feel that this would be a very good fit. Here he is next to the original Black Ranger, the Dragon Shield Black Ranger, the Metallic Black Ranger, the previously reviewed Damon, the figurized standard Tada Joel, a Dino Fury basic figure, the Legacy Collection Black Ranger, and Decade. So all in all, this set is pretty more phenomenal. You get a new Black Ranger with an updated helmet, and possibly an updated body mold. You also get another set of blade blasters, a new Adam head sculpt, and another chance to get a Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, in case you did not have the chance to pick up the original. If you're fine with not having a Season 2 Zack head, then you should definitely pick this guy up. Plus, it also gives you a chance to make your own custom like what I did with the defender vest. The only downside is that you don't get yourself another power axe, which I'm sure you already have multiple copies of right now, in which I believe you do not need. Speaking of need, do I need a new shelf? So if you like this video, blast that like button, leave a comment down below, let me know if you think we're gonna get another Adam with a defender vest, share this video with your friends and family in the event they want to learn how to make their own custom vests, and if you got a second, feel free to subscribe, as there's always a lot of good stuff coming. This is KID, I'm the man, and I'll see you all next time.